For us tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, my name is Zoe Burgess. I am currently the Youth of the Year for Metro Atlanta and an active member of the Rockdale Boys and Girls Club.
Excellent. We're glad you're here tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. There was a time when I lived in the world, but my world didn't feel real. Every smile felt borrowed, every laugh felt rehearsed, and every day I questioned if I belonged. My worth became fragile, as if it could be erased by a single, quiet moment. High grades, test scores, trophies, awards. They became my measurement. If I succeeded, I mattered. If I failed, I disappeared. I became a puppet in my own life. I'd smile when I wasn't happy. I'd laugh when I wanted to cry. I became Zoe, the girl who's always down for everything. But the truth was, I wasn't down for anything. I was tired. I was lost. I was becoming a version of myself that I couldn't even recognize. But before I had lost myself completely, I had already been given a gift, the Boys and Girls Club. I still remember my first day back in 3rd grade, small, nervous, clutching on my back like a shield. Now, originally, I intended to sit far in a corner, praying no one noticed me. Of course, that didn't work. Then eventually, someone asked my name. Someone asked about my day. Someone smiled and said, "We're glad you're here." And in those moments, I realized I belonged. My club didn't give me a place to go. It gave me reasons to stay. Then everything changed. COVID hit. My 4th grade year ended not with a bell, but with silence. That same silence I had been running from. 2 years away from my safe place. 2 years without the laughter, mentorship, and the reminders that I belonged. And in this silence, I began to fade. But eventually I returned. And in my return, I joined programs like podcasting and Sister Circle. Through these spaces, I learned that my words, my voice can have impact and resonate with others. Through art, I learned that mistakes don't ruin beauty. They create them. This is all giving me a vision of leadership. Leadership is about rising with others and supporting your peers, being an advocate. So what is the power of now? The power of now is knowing that who you are, right here, present in this moment, can make change and have impact. I am no longer the girl who lived in the fog. I am no longer the girl who sought approval. Today I stand as a young woman who found her voice, her power, and her purpose. And if I can stand here, fully real, fully present, then so can you. My name is Zoe Burgess, representing Metro Atlanta Boys and Girls Clubs, and that is the power of now.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair and
Good
Commissioners.
evening.
I have been before you often over this past year, but I'm just coming back again to say thank you and to put an exclamation point on Zoe Burgess's victory. Just to kind of help paint the picture, our local club has an annual budget of $800,000. As board chair, I'm responsible for going to the community to help raise 100 of that $800,000. And then the central office supports or subsidizes the other 600 to 700,000, whatever we can't raise here in the Rockdale community. Zoe's win is huge because out of 25 Metro Atlanta clubs who each select a youth, she was the youth selected of all those clubs to be the poster child for the Metro Atlanta cluster, and then also now to compete on a state level, then hopefully regional and hopefully national. Her win awards her college scholarships, but it also brings notoriety to this fact that young people like Zoe don't grow on trees. They are the result of intentional investment. For me, this is a surreal moment. 22 years ago, I was 17 years old. I was Metro Atlanta's Youth of the Year and the state of Georgia's Youth of the Year. And here I am now as board chair, supporting Zoe, her family, Miss Terry, her team, and people like them. Who knows if 20 years from now, Zoe or somebody like her might be standing as an advocate for an organization that's done so much for kids like her and like me. So I want to thank you again for your contract, just to remind you of the impact of the club in the community and our accountability to you and to our neighbors to make good on whatever we get to continue to further our mission to create safe, inclusive, and engaging environments for teenagers and for their families. And so we have some people with us tonight. If Zoe's family could please stand, we want to honor her parents for sure. And then we have our executive director, Miss Terry Walker Moore, who runs our club. Thank you, Miss Terry Walker Moore. Then we have David Garcia, who works at the central office. He's the government liaison for the central office. And then Dr. Tanae Davis and I both serve on the board, but she has been the mentor to Zoe to walk her through this process of winning Metro Atlanta's Youth of the Year.
Very nice. So we'd like to take a picture with Zoe and the group and your family. Let me say this. I might have missed the fact that, or you're at the Rockdale Club, correct? Okay. Did you hear that? Yeah. Okay, I must have missed that piece because I thought you might have been metro area, so I didn't realize. That is excellent. So whether you're just Rockdale or whole metro, you're fabulous. You did a great job. So we'd love to have a picture with you.
Madam Chair, she won the Rockdale Youth of the Year and competed against 25 other youth.
That's amazing.
And then won for Metro Atlanta to represent not just our club, but now the entire city.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. All right. All right. Now, if we can have our retired educators come to the front with us.
Oh, that's me.
Yes, yes. So it's nice to honor our retired educators today. As we have Zoe leave, she's a product of the public schools and great parents, and so she attends Heritage High School. All right, so look at this great group of educators. As many of you know, I am a product of the public schools here in Rockdale County, and I attended Flat Shoals, Edwards, and graduated from Heritage. So they definitely set me on the right trajectory. So tonight we have a proclamation by the Board of Commissioners. Whereas each November we proudly observe Retired Educators Day in Georgia, honoring the many individuals who have dedicated their careers to shaping minds and strengthening communities through education. And whereas the state of Georgia is home to more than 142,000 retired educators, including over 220 members of the Rockdale Retired Educators Association, who continues to enrich our community through leadership, service, and mentorship. And whereas Rockdale's retired educators collectively contribute countless volunteer hours each year, giving back to local schools, organizations, and families. The RREA has donated more than $91,500 in teacher scholarships since 2000, provided free books to children from birth through age 4, distributed school supplies, and offered substitute teaching support, as well as assisting community programs such as Rockdale Emergency Relief. And whereas in 2024, under the leadership of President Blake Kraft, the RREA proudly awarded 4 $1,000 scholarships to deserving recipients. 2 honorees are pre-service educators preparing to enter the classroom, while 2 are current Rockdale County Public School employees pursuing educational certification, furthering the legacy of lifelong learning and professional growth. And whereas it is fitting that we recognize and celebrate the continued impact of our retired educators, whose commitment to excellence, service, and compassion has shaped generations and continues to inspire the future of Rockdale County and beyond. And whereas Rockdale County praises our retired educators for the vital role they have played in shaping the education system, the lives of our youth, and of families in the communities we call home. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners, do hereby salute our retired educators for being outstanding community examples and celebrate with them this special day of significance. In acknowledgement that November 2nd is recognized statewide as Retired Educators Day in Georgia, we further declare November 18th as Rockdale Retired Educators Day. We encourage all citizens of Rockdale County to join us in recognizing this observance and to honor our retired educators in ways that reflect their lasting contributions to our community. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 18th day of November 2025. Signed, Janice Van Ness, Chair. Tawanya Smith, Commissioner Post 1, and Doreen Williams, Commissioner Post 2, and retired educator. Congratulations, I should say. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we'll stand out here and take a picture. Oh. All right, at this time, we are moving to public comment. And if you would like to speak, we do have a yellow card that we'd be glad for you to fill out so that you can address the board. First, we have Mary Boysworth.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners and everybody in attendance.
Good evening.
My comment is about the recycling. I know it's a done deal. I'm not here about that. My concern is I was at an HOA meeting last night. Nobody except the people I personally told knew anything about it. So my concern is we need another way to get the information out there. Can we put something in maybe in the water bill like we used to do for other things? Just need more ways of getting the info out there because people are upset about it because they didn't know about it. And it's like, oh my God, what's going on? And is the start date going to be December 1st or January? Because part of the thing says December 1st, but then the newsletter said January.
Sure.
So,
let me have Director Sanders address that for you.
Okay.
Good evening. So it will start January 1st, but if you come in by early, Director Hammer, is that correct?
February 1st.
Oh, February 1st.
It starts February
Okay.
1st? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
But if you buy early in January, it's like a free month? Is that what you were saying, or?
Yeah. I don't remember the policy right off. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. By December, January.
That is correct. That is correct. So we'll officially no longer accept cash at the center itself. February 1st will be the start date of that. So if you buy a tag anytime before that, if you buy it right now, you'll get 2 months free. If you start in December, January would be 1 month free, and then February, that's when it'll officially start for all the people that are coming
When's the
there.
renewal date then? Does it be first of the year, every year?
The renewal date will be February 1st of every year. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and it is prorated. Unlike some of the other counties, we prorated it per month.
Okay. The other question I have too is the last few times I've been up there, they used to have a dumpster for cardboard, and they took it away. They said, I was told it wasn't cost effective. Well, it's been an issue the last few, especially this morning when I was up there. There was a few guys dumping, I'm talking about huge boxes, the really thick ones, jamming up the entire compactor. I had to go around to the shed to get somebody to come unjam it. I told them I got to break them down. And so it is broken down. So they're still too big.
Okay.
Are we going to get that compactor? Are we going to, not the compactor? Are we going to get that dumpster back for the cardboard? Because you can't, because there's a bunch of us waiting in line to put paper and small boxes in there, and it was just jam-packed in big boxes.
Yes. And I'll answer that too. Yes, we are working on changing how we're doing recycling. The county used to be paid for the cardboard because it was a recycling product, but the way that was collected in the dumpsters, we actually have to pay to have that removed by our vendor. And so we're looking at different options. We're looking at a baling machine, and we're looking at bringing back a different compactor and doing it slightly different. But I'll speak to the gentleman out there about
That one's dangerous
that.
with that piece hanging out too.
Director Hammer, can you go over the program real quick, the pricing for us?
Yes, so.
Did you have anything else?
No,
to say?
that's
Okay,
it.
you're
No.
good.
Taking up all
Okay.
your
No, that's
time,
okay.
right?
I didn't want to take up your
I was
time.
just curious too, what was going to cost money after that, because everything apparently is not going to cost, but what, because right now you pay for mattresses, you pay for big things like that, but that's going to be free going forward now, or is that
So
still going to cost?
that's correct. So how it'll work, and I'll do the spiel again. There we go. And we have been working with public relations. We'll be putting out flyers and talk to Director Peak about putting something in a water bill.
And there's
as well.
signage already up at the recycling
I believe the
center.
signage is already up. If not, it will be shortly. Thank you. I don't know if they could see that, but there is a flyer that we're putting out.
Okay, look for the flyer. It's coming. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been working on this for a couple years. I hope I remember the details. So it'll start February 1st. You will purchase a hanging tag. It's similar to Newton County. If people have friends or relatives in Newton County, you'll purchase a hanging tag. The cost will be $150 per year. It'll be prorated per month. There's a schedule that we go on, but you will purchase a new tag as of February 1st each year. Senior citizens, if they show proof that they're senior citizens, get a discount of $100.
No.
Cost of $100.
Yeah,
to
so a
clarify.
discount of
It's a
50.
It's a 33% discount
Yeah.
essentially. So it'll cost $100 a year for senior citizens.
And what age is that?
It's 60 plus.
60?
60,
Okay.
yes. Let's see. So what you'll do when you first go in, you won't have to go to the attendant. You won't have to bring change. You won't have to bring cash. If you have the hanging tag, you drive right through and you can bring any of the items that are in there, mattresses, tree debris, recycling, trash, all the items. Nothing about the center has changed in terms of what we're collecting and what we're transferring out. So that'll remain exactly the same. The only change is not the cost per item, but purchasing a hang tag once a year.
Okay. And can you talk about what made us go to this system? Because I know when Newton did it, it was a challenge for people to make that change, but since then it seems to be smooth. And I know you looked at several communities before this was
That's
a
correct.
recommendation.
We looked at all the surrounding counties as well. And Newton County, when we spoke to them, part of their difficulty, they also closed the centers. They had, I think, 12, and they reduced it down to 6 at the same time. So that was difficult when they did that. And in essence, it's the escalating costs that we have for the materials. The transfer, it is a transfer center. It's not a landfill. So every item that comes on there is required to be transferred back out of the center. So recycling, glass, tree debris, everything, trash, everything that comes into the center, the county has to then pay to dispose of. In recent years, we've had just ever increasing escalation cost for that. And of course, the county has been growing as well. And so there's been lines out the door, out the driveway, up Sigmund Road on the busy days. Mm-hmm. So the two things are to try to bring the cost down, the carry for the county, as well as is have that go a little more efficiently to route people through quicker. So if you have the tag on your rearview mirror, you don't have to stop. They don't have to count anything. You just drive right through and dump the items and go back out.
So we also looked at cost savings and efficiency and decided that we'll also have to invest some money for capital for that. And so can you talk about that as well?
At the moment, we have Pratt Recycling. We put out a bid every few years. The last few years, Pratt Recycling has won the bid, and we've been happy to partner with them. But again, their haul cost and their fuel cost and their driver cost have just increased exponentially. So what we're planning on next year is we're looking at changing the way we're doing the dumpsters, having more dumpsters out there, more of the containers out there, and haul those ourselves using in-house labor to do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll go to approval of the agenda.
So, Madam Chair, it's my understanding that you would like to amend the agenda tonight to add a contract?
Right, per recommendation by the county attorney, we need to add.
It would be to amend the agenda to add a contract, which I would say item 577
Okay.
to the agenda, the contract with Georgia Strategy Group.
Okay, very good. Thank
So
you.
is that your motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add that
Okay.
to the agenda. Do we have a second? No?
Okay,
The
motion
motion
fails.
dies. All right, thank you. We'll move to approval of the minutes.
We still need to approve the agenda, though.
Oh, sorry.
If,
I
is
move
there
to
another?
approve the agenda
Okay.
as published.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. All right, approval of the minutes for November 10th.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. All right, unfinished business.
Okay, item 555 under unfinished business is an ordinance to make and provide appropriations for the period beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026, to make and provide such appropriations for the operations of the Rockdale County government, its departments, boards, and other agencies and funds, including all elected county officers and their employees, to provide for the control and administration of all funds of such agencies from all sources, to provide an effective date to repeal conflicting ordinances and resolutions, and for other purposes. This is before you tonight for a second reading.
I move to defer this, passing these appropriations. I think there's still some details that need to be worked out. I think there's several different changes that have been proposed that we have not talked about, or amendments to the budget appropriations. So my motion is to defer this until a called meeting.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. And are there any questions?
Well, I think it would be good to talk about some of these
Okay, I think
things
that
that
would
have
be
come
good.
up.
Okay,
Yeah,
we can do that now.
okay,
Okay,
sounds
the
good.
floor is yours.
Okay.
And I would just like to add this as well. You obviously talk about the budget right now, but you could also vote on items that you do agree on if you want to do that as well, or you can just defer the entire ordinance.
Okay,
That's also at your discretion.
I'd like to just defer the entire
All
ordinance.
right.
okay, and give us
And
time to think about
give us
the
time to
different
think about
options.
it.
Okay,
I would like to amend the budget to expand some allocations to Viewpoint Health, to CASA, and to the Rockdale Coalition. I think we're talking about children and families. And I know that Commissioner Smith has a proposal for a housing initiative. And to me, it's all wrapped around. You've got to have everything in place. And so that is my suggestion, is that I would like to support the $100,000, but I would like support for the other 35 or 33 or whatever it is.
So I think in the research that I did, that I looked at Viewpoint's budget in 2023. In 2023, they made a decision to fund 2024 and 2025 for an additional $50,000 for Viewpoint. And I didn't get clarification on exactly why they did that $50,000 increase. I think that budget went from about 200 to 250,000 roughly, but I'm sure you could provide clarification, Director Sanders. So I think that big increase led me to believe that it was probably good where it was. So unless you know why it increased so much.
I do know
Okay.
why it increased.
Okay.
Since that time, the Play Therapy Center in Centerville has opened, and they are servicing families from Rockdale County in that position also. There's also the issue of they pay us about $90,000 in or more in rent. We are the only county that they serve that charges them rent. So the alternative is we can stop charging them rent and not raise the budget.
Where are they renting? I'm just curious.
They're over by the JP Carr complex. They're in that complex by DFAX and the other, I forget who all is in there.
Yeah, like the veterans and
The
that kind of
veterans.
thing, that area where
So
the
they're not the only
JP Carr
ones.
Gymnasium is and that complex, they're in that complex too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that the other services over there also pay us. So
They do, and that's why we've always kept it up,
right.
because of,
The financial
Then it would-
responsibilities.
and because the others are paying rent. We've talked about it before in previous years, and nobody wanted to change that. On the other hand, their costs have gone up and their services have expanded. And so, we need to, I believe we need to compensate them. CASA only asked for an additional $5,000, and those are the children that are in foster care. CASA is the organization that provides adults to mentor them and to be their advocate. And then the Rockdale Coalition asked for $3,750 additional. They do everything from providing resources for women, for children, for families. They have the Rockdale Emergency Relief Organization. All of those services that the county can't provide are done by the coalition.
but the
And I
money,
didn't feel like,
right.
I felt like 3,750, that's like a small percentage that kind of keeps up with inflation.
So I think that organization brings those nonprofits together for meetings and things like that.
They do.
Not direct services, correct?
The coalition oversees all of these nonprofits that provide the services, yes.
And that organization is a state mandate, the
It is.
creation of the Rockdale Coalition.
It is. Every county has one.
Correct. Yeah, I was trying to find the amount that the others pay in rent for facilities over there as well. But I do know that the rest of them pay for upkeep, repairs, paint, all those things. So I think Director Hammer is the one that, don't you interact with all of them? Okay.
So,
Okay.
so those
Very good.
complexities are one of the reasons that I'd like to table it for tonight and
Okay.
come back to it. I think
Okay.
there's some things to work out. I think
Okay.
there's some compromises that could be made. I think there's, I think we need to look holistically at the county.
Okay. Very good.
So you had a motion and a second and discussion. Did you have more discussion? Do you want to vote on this?
Did you want to go ahead and talk about the proposal
No,
that you had?
I'm good. Okay, you want to do it? You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
I did want to add this right before you vote, though. This item is under unfinished business, which means it will go to the December 9th board meeting. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that.
My
that this will come
understanding
up.
is that we could also have a called meeting ahead of that
So
December
I think you
9th.
should include that, so I can pull it off this agenda and put it on a called meeting because it's under unfinished business. So we need to make sure we clarify that.
Okay, so I
So-
move that we defer this,
Maybe to the next meeting of the Board of Commissioners. That might work.
to the next well, and I did say something about a called meeting, but to the next meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
All right? Now we have to vote. The motion, the second,
She motioned,
all in
I
favor?
second that. Or we
Say
did that, right? Or is it something different?
I didn't hear you vote. I heard the motion and the second. I didn't hear the vote.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
thanks.
The motion carries.
All right. Okay.
All right, under new business,
And I will keep going until y'all stop me. How about that?
that would be great. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. So item 563 is with Hussey, Gay, Bell, and DeYoung for consulting engineers. This is through the Transportation Department to continue Phase 1 through 9 of the Sigmund Road widening project. This is change order number 2 to contract 2023-160 to add additional fee and scope for the project. The amount is $1,593,721.23. This is for 1 year and SPLOST funded.
Is that the additional fee amount?
Director Kelly.
Director Kelly, can you present, please?
Good evening, Chair, Committee, Commissioners.
Thank you.
So this portion of the project, this is for Phase 4. As you know, we do have certain phases. We finished Phase 2. Phase 3 is already going. Has to be designed for Phase 4 as well. So that covers all the environmental, the design, and all those parts permits for Phase 4. That's what this is showing me.
Okay, well, it says it's a change order and to add additional fee.
So what we did, we typically have a concept for each of those portions. So we went ahead and did the concept and had that sitting with GDOT for approval. And this would cover the design based off that concept that was approved.
Okay, so we're not adding more money, or is this the first time we've approved the scope of this project?
So the concept covers the scope. This is the design of that, goes with the design of that scope concept. So this is a preliminary engineering portion. So you typically have preliminary engineering, right-of-way, utilities, and the construction.
So this is the total amount to do that?
This is total amount to do the preliminary engineering.
Right,
Correct.
right, okay,
That is correct.
all right, thank you.
Okay. Item 564 is with the Covington Fire Department and Newton County Fire Rescue. This is through the Fire Rescue Department. A memorandum of understanding to utilize public safety training facility at no cost. The term is November 10th, 2025 through December 4th, 2025.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
Do you want to take 563 and 564 together?
Oh, sure. I
Okay.
forgot.
Or
Okay,
keep
I'll
going?
second that
Okay,
motion and
all
we'll go
right.
ahead and do both.
All right.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion
So that
carries.
was for two of them?
That was
Yes.
for two.
Correct?
Two.
Okay.
I have 563 and 564.
Okay,
All right.
I will keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Okay, 565 is with Alliant Insurance Services through the Human Resources Department for the benefits broker contract. This is for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 1-year terms. This is at no cost to the county. Item 566 is with Troy University through the Human Resources Department for a memorandum of understanding for educational partnerships, providing tuition discounts for county employees. This is at no charge to the county, and it's until terminated by either party. Item 567 is with ArborServe through the General Services Department for grinding of bulk piles of tree and yard debris. This is on-call unit price for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 1-year periods. This is through various funding accounts. This is a budgeted item. Item 568 is with PE Structures and Associates LLC through the General Services Department for the Wheeler Park site work. This is for the grinder, pump, and additional grading. It's change order number 1 to contract 2025-47. The amount is $96,265. It's an additional 90 days, SPLOST funded, and is a budgeted item. Item 569 is with Crown Castle through the Water Resources Department for the tower site lease at 2406 Tatum Road Northeast. It's change order number 4 to contract 2021-06. Is for rent escalation, then it's a cost to the county. It's an increased monthly rate by 3% from $585.27 a month to $602.83 a month. Item 570 is with Crown Castle through the Emergency Management Agency for the tower site lease at 2120 Farmer Road. It's change order number 2 to contract 2022-178 for rent escalation. The increased monthly rate by 5% from $1,151.83 per month to $1,209.42 per month, and this is revenue. Item 571 is with Magnet Forensics through the Technology Services Department. This is for the 2026 renewal agreement for software Axiom term license. The amount is $6,720. The term is January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 572 is with Infotech Research Group through the Technology Services Department for the Enterprise Resource Planning Strategy Workshop. This is for signature-only agreement, and it's a one-time event. Item 573 is a requisition through the Technology Services Department, Know Before Security Awareness Training. The amount is $27,216 and is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 574 is a requisition through Fire Rescue Department for All Source Enterprises doing business as Safe Industries. This is for the trench, confined spaces, and other rescue equipment for firefighter operations. The amount is $57,722, is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 575 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Southeastern Security Professionals for Badge Access Control System at Rockdale Water Resources Water Treatment Plant located at 3090 Gees Mill Road. The amount is $39,310.61. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item. Item 576 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Ironhide Seating Restoration, doing business as Playground Rescue, for the paint and restore plastic pieces on existing playground at Johnson Park. The amount is $30,250. This is impact fee funded and is a budgeted item. So that's items 565 through 576.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve items 565 through 574 and item 576. And then and then a motion to take 575 separate.
Okay.
Okay. I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. And Director Hammer, if you could address item 575 for us and the bid process for that.
Yes, Southeastern Security Professionals, yes. So How that works, well, the county has several unit price contracts that we have, flooring, concrete, small construction work, things like that. This is one of them as well. We have several low voltage contracts and an audiovisual contract. So how those work is we put out a bid for unit prices, so it's a certain amount per badge reader, or a certain amount per cable run, a certain distance, that sort of thing. So it's itemized when we put out the bid, and then the board has entered into an individual overarching contract, an IDIQ is what it's sometimes called, indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery. A unit price contract is what we typically refer for all the terms and conditions of what they would do, cleaning up the site, providing business hours, all the different terms and conditions. They would provide those services at a piece, each piece at a time. That's the original contract that was approved. Then when we have an individual need for this, in this instance from Rockdale Water Resources for badge readers, we contact that company, they come out, they provide a quote based on those unit prices for the number of items that we have and the scope of work for that particular building. So it's akin to like a work order, but because how the way the board approaches it, it's a requisition that we use from the procurement standpoint. So that's what this is in front of you. So it's a requisition per that unit price for 8 badge readers to take care of 2 of the buildings over at Rockdale Water Resources.
Okay. And just for my knowledge, so when this process happens, how do we have a list of local vendors that could also bid? How many of the people that bid were local vendors?
I'd have to go back and look at that. They're on, I want to say it's year 2 or 3 of their unit price contract. When we put out the bid, we contact as many local vendors as we can. If we know about them, we invite them. It's put out under a public bid. It's advertised under the Georgia Procurement Registry whenever we put out a public bid. Okay. So any vendors, any local ones are free, encouraged, and we ask and solicit those. However, if they don't bid, then they're not part of the process, of course. And there are requirements that we have for E-Verify, insurance, and things like that. So sometimes you have smaller one-man outfits. They're working out a truck, and they don't have the insurance that would qualify to work on the county's building. It's not a high insurance amount, but there are basic requirements that we require. And then they also have to be qualified. We don't want them to cut their teeth on one of our buildings. They need to be experienced in their, technicians. So there's a process that we go through for that.
I just want to make sure that we open the door to local vendors who can do this type of work. So can you share with me, like, how many of the access controls were on these buildings total? Do you know?
As far as the water treatment plant, the 2 buildings that we're doing, there's 8 total, including the backup systems, the power supplies, and then tying them into the fire alarm panels and the controls. So that's what this particular requisition is for.
Okay. And do you know how many bids we received?
We didn't receive bids because they are our selected vendor per the previous bid. So
were they the only vendor that we use?
They're the only they're the current contract holder. So we put out a bid for the service, and we probably had a dozen or so companies that bid on that at the time, and then we selected one per an evaluation process, and then we give them a contract, and then for each of the items that comes up in the term of that contract, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, however how long that contract is, they're the selected vendor. So we don't go back out to bid with every single
But would
item.
that be similar to how we do our engineering professionals? So it's based on qualifications and experience, not price?
Yes, so the engineers and architects are qualifications only. That's per the, Director Kelly can remind me, what's the Brooks Act? We're required to select only based on qualifications for large construction projects. This would be a combination, it'd be an RFP, so it's a request for proposal, a combination of qualifications and cost. Usually the cost is somewhere in the 20-25% up to 50% range, depending on how the contract or the bid is put out. So it's cost and qualifications, then this contractor is selected.
To do any work for us across the county for 1 year?
it's typically we do 1 year with up to 2 1-year extensions, so we can extend it a year at a time. It's usually no more than 3 years that they have a contract, and then we rebid it out to additional vendors.
So how do you know it's cost effective?
Well, at the time that we put out the bid and we get those unit prices, the cost is included in that bid. So and because it is anywhere between 20, 25, and 50%, it's a large portion of the evaluation process. So we do get great value, usually the lowest value for that product when we put out the unit prices, and then we kind of evaluate that based on the consumer product index. We look at that with procurement each year when it comes up for renewal, and we kind of look at theirs. If they hold on to their pricing, then for the following year, then we're glad to keep the exact same low pricing that we're getting. If they do ask for an increase in pricing, we compare that to the CPI to see whether it's comparable, and if they don't, we put it back out to bid, and if it is, we continue on. And the rationale behind doing that, by the way, is a bid process sometimes takes 4 to 6 months. So every time we have to add a badge reader, we have to bid it out 4 to 6 months. It's going to be very difficult to get that work done in a timely manner for all the departments.
All right, and so that we can clarify, Madam Clerk, will you discuss the procurement policy and threshold?
So I'd have to pull up the threshold. Let me get that. Of course, we got our whole finance team. If anybody wants to,
I mean, I could
weigh
speak-
in, I'll get
Over
it. So
15,000.
Yeah.
That's
and
what I
up
thought. I
Yes.
just didn't want to.
Is when it requires a bid. So
Okay.
any services
Anything over
15,000 and over require a bid.
oh, that's all you wanted to know? I thought you wanted to know the
Yeah.
whole process. I was ready to go
No,
through the whole process.
I mean, I think in matters like this, there's that balance of trying to do the well, I wouldn't even call it a RFP because you didn't have people specifically bid on this. And I think that's just the procurement process in general is something that I want to continue looking at because I want to make sure that we are being most effective with the tax dollars we're entrusted with. So I'll do a little bit further deep dive on that, but I just wanted to bring to light that that is a concern that I have in general. And we can go ahead and vote on this, but I want to ask you one more question after our vote. If you,
I just want to ask, as far as the contracts that I'm seeing coming across, they have a lot of years that they're, contracted to do certain things. So I would think that we will probably give more opportunity to local people if the contracts weren't so long, with automatic renewals for 3 years, automatic renewals for 4 years, and things like that. I think we should kind of look at that.
Yes, and typically it is a 1-year term, and then we have 1-year renewals. We've never gone, to my knowledge, past 3 years.
I mean, I've seen some
but yeah.
here, and they've been. There are some that's more than a year.
Well, as far as the
Yeah, other departments, so.
Right. Yeah. I'm just
Yes.
in general, just doesn't be something that it gives the opportunity for local businesses to bid. If I wasn't ready in 2025, maybe I'll be ready in 2026. So I just think we should keep that in mind as well.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll.
So it sounds like there might be some advantages to going back out to bid. But the disadvantage is that you said it takes 4 to 6
So
months.
long.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is half of a year.
Correct.
And so,
So if we only
and then
award,
it
say, a
takes-
1-year contract, then we would have a contractor on board for 1 year, and at the end of the year, we take 4 to 6 months to bid that out again.
Do you have to wait until the contract is over in order to put out?
We could try to overlap it.
Right.
It would mean that we're rebidding this almost every single year. Every other year, we're bidding it. We're going through the bid
Or
process.
literally every
If we only
6
have 1
months.
year, every 6 months.
It didn't have to
we're
be a
doing
year.
the
I
bid
just didn't think it had to be 3 or 4. I understand it, more than a year, but I was just wondering how we can kind of do that. I know you said 4 to 6, but if you do it in advance and you know that this is ending in January,
Right.
Start in
And we do,
October.
procurement does a fantastic job. We get
Right.
notifications. They call me at least 6 or 8 months ahead of when it's due, and they say, are you ready, to put
Okay.
this back out to bid? But yeah, there's a duration there. We're trying to hit that. And then, of course, that's time that the staff spends, time the procurement, all the evaluators and everything, that there's a cost there as well to put that out over and over again.
All right.
But yeah.
All right. So Need a motion?
Item 575.
Oh, Madam Chair, I move that we approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. All right, and we'll move to board comment. And I would like to take the opportunity to go first this time because there may be comments that follow. So I wanted to take a moment for our county attorney to come and explain to me so that I understand the process that you want us to have for contracts that's come to light. So when we have contracts that go through, can you talk about how historically we have just sent a letter per the contract that we sign that says notification should be sent to the contractor? And I think there's a difference of opinion on how that needs to be handled
Yes.
that you may have.
I may have to defer to someone internally to explain how it has been done because,
Okay.
In my experience as county attorney over, I guess, 16, 17 years now, I've seen many times contracts come before the board who's the only single agent who has the authority either to make contracts or rescind contracts.
Okay.
I've seen contracts come to the board for rescinding, for termination, as they well should. Some contracts naturally terminate at a date certain. Those ones that
Like
don't
with a
come-
definitive deadline?
Correct. Like if
Okay.
it's until December 31st of 2025.
Right.
And then it just dies. Some
Okay.
contracts have, it dies at 2025 unless notice is given to either side within X number of days prior to the expiration of the contract. So notice can be given to terminate a contract that would naturally have a greater lifespan, I'll say. A self-renewing contract. And so if notice is given to terminate that, notice has to be given by someone. The decision has to be made to terminate that contract. There's no single director that has contract authority in the county that I'm aware of
Correct.
by statute and by law. So the decision to terminate a contract has to come from the board. If the board is making a decision to terminate a contract, no individual commissioner has unilateral authority to terminate the contract. So there has to be a second. There has to be a second vote. And so if there's an internal consensus amongst the board to terminate a contract, and there's two of the three or three of the three that want to do that, it has to be memorialized. Because if the auditors and if there's no record of how this is, the termination has occurred, they can't simply, interrogate staff and say, hey, did they say this to you? Did you say this to them? It doesn't work that way. The only way that the board can take an action and exercise its authority is through a vote. And so in terminating a contract, my legal advice would be that you come as a panel before the public and make your vote known.
For every single contract, even if the contract terminates?
Let me pick on Director, who should I pick on? Director Peak. I'll pick on Director Peak for a second.
Okay.
Director Peak decides, I don't want these chemicals anymore. These guys aren't doing a good job. The price is too much. He says to my colleague here, Director of Finance, hey, let's not renew this contract. And it has a clause that says, you don't have to renew or you have to give this kind of notice. Finance learns from RWR, we're not buying these chemicals, we're not doing this anymore. Presumably the board's going to defer to the more knowledgeable field expert with respect to the chemical and the contract.
Correct.
But he has no authority to do that, right? And so he can communicate to finance, and finance can say, look, we're not going with the contract, but then they have to come to you. That can't happen without your knowledge.
Because typically, we don't terminate contracts on our agendas. That's
Yes.
more unusual.
So I've learned in the last...
Even when I was here before in 2006 to 2014,
Right.
I don't remember that being something that was regularly done. We have a lot of contracts that expire per the contract
Right.
itself that has a ending date.
Yes, and those you wouldn't need to bring before the board.
Okay.
Anything
Because
that
we would be
naturally
quite
expires.
busy with all of those.
Yes,
So.
but anything that you have to give notice to terminate, or anything you're terminating early, or anything that you're unhappy with and you want to change, has to, in my opinion, be spread upon the minutes. The director can't make that decision.
This
But-
board actually rescinded a number of contracts at the beginning of this year that were put in place last year because they were determined not to follow
that would be the
And so they
advisable
were on
approach.
the agenda because they were rescinded before the termination.
However, so contracts could be rescinded if you were unhappy with something, but then there's also contracts that just, the task at hand that they were initially contracted for, that has been completed, and there is no reason to continue. So you get a 30-day notice on some contracts. Once that 30 days is given, then because the services aren't needed anymore, where does that fall?
So if a contract that has a 30-day notice, when the scope is completed or the task is the services are no longer needed, what you would do internally is you would have a consensus that there is no longer need for this contract. That consensus is initially internal, because then you'd ask your clerk to put it on the agenda, to have a motion to exercise the notice clause to terminate the contract. And if you had 2 votes for that, then you would exercise the motion for notice, and that would terminate the contract.
Correct. So moving forward, we could say we don't want any automatic renewals for contracts.
You could, and then again, I'll defer to Director Peak. I'm usually in the front row and you've got your white shirt on. He probably needs them on his chemical stuff. He probably doesn't want to come back to you every 6 months or 8 months, and sometimes he can lock folks into a contract price for his chemicals if it renews. Am I?
That's right.
Is it?
Absolutely correct.
So,
Absolutely correct.
so you know.
Our operation being a 24/7 operation,
Correct.
we need things, and so if we don't have them, we can shut down our water. We don't want to do that. We have to have some things.
It's not really a one-size-fits-all. It kind of just depends,
Right.
would be my answer, on the nature of the contract.
Okay.
Whether it's for goods, whether it's for services, whether it's a finite task, whether it's for multitasks, it all just kind of depends. But the bottom line, and my counsel would be, if there's a termination of a contract, it can't be done at a director level. It has to be done at the BOC level. That presumes a second vote, because you can't do it unilaterally. And the second vote presumes a record, and the record presumes bringing it here before the people.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. All right. That's all I have. Do you have comments?
Yes, actually, I do. First off, I want to say congratulations to Parks and Rec for a really, really phenomenal autumn festival Sunday afternoon. And the weather cooperated perfectly. They planned it that way, I'm sure, and it worked out. I didn't get there till later in the afternoon because I was at an HOA meeting speaking with those people first. But, there were so many people there, and the band had already performed before I got there, but the DJ had music going, and there were gray-haired people, there were children, there was everybody in between up dancing, and they were teaching the young ones how to line dance, and it was phenomenal. It was really, really good. So congratulations to Parks and Rec for a really outstanding event. Also, then the other thing is that, let me find, I had it up here, just a second. Okay. City Councilwoman Sherry Washington, who will be sworn in tomorrow night, and I are doing a coat drive, a winter coat drive. And we're working with the schools and with DFACS, and there will be several drop-off locations. There's the flyer up there, Rockdale County Government Offices, City of Conyers City Hall, and the Nancy Gwynn Library. There's also a fraternity that is partnering with us on this. So the items that we need are coats, hats, and scarves. And we would like them to be new or barely used kinds of things. So coats, hats, and scarves. We know that there is a great need. One of the school counselors mentioned that they were concerned about the children at their school, that they were sure we're not going to have coats for this winter. So we would ask you to contribute, just drop off someplace in one of those 3 locations. And that will run starting today until December 20th. And then we will make sure when school starts back again in January that they have been distributed and the children will be able to receive them. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, ma'am. I want to first congratulate the new Associate Probate Judge, Catherine Thompson. That was just sworn in this week. Welcome to Rockdale County. And also to remind everyone that we have the Constituent Liaison Services on Fridays at the library from 10 to 12, and that's through Congressman David Scott's office. Also, I did want to speak about the program. Over the past few months, I've been working and creating an innovative program with United Way, and which I am hopeful that the CFO can find some funding for it. But I would like to reserve my details about it once we find that out. But it is a very good program for our county. So just stay tuned for that. Those are my comments. Thank you.
All right, and I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving with your family and friends. I do also want to let you know that we had planned a turkey giveaway, but I believe in the spirit of collaboration, and so I am working with Pastor Russell at Springfield Baptist Church, and their Servolution team is giving away 1,000 turkeys. So with that being said, that will be Saturday, November 22nd at 8 a.m., and it should be a great success, I'm sure. So that is located at 1877 Iris Drive in Conyers.
And, okay, let me pull this up. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I received a notice from Lee May today that they are doing a turkey drive also, and a food giveaway, and some other things down at, I can't remember the name of the church, down on Honey Creek Avenue, and it's this Saturday. I will find that.
Okay, very good. All right, with that being said, I'd like to see if we have a need for executive session today.
No, Madam Chair.
All right.
I found it.
That was quick.
I know.
All right.
I was scrolling.
From 2 to 5 p.m., November 22nd, that's this Saturday, clothes, food, fun, music, and prayer at the Transforming Faith Church at 301 Honey Creek Road in Conyers. It is also where Trinity Baptist Church is located, and Hills Academy is located there too.
All right. With that being said, we will adjourn the meeting.